And welcome back, everybody. It is me, your boy Rico No Suave, here on a 1-2-1-2. Oh man, I am super ready to go with each and every one of you guys today. Oh man, we're gonna have a fun show today, everybody, because boy, you're gonna learn a lot about me, and also you're gonna learn a lot about what's going on here. This is a dance community special here in Chicago, everybody, but also we're gonna be talking about a lot of things around the world. But we got to start off the show because I missed you, and hopefully you missed me as well too. I always miss you. I miss you every week, everybody. So hopefully you guys miss me. And don't forget, if you're actually on us with live chat, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well too, as well. And yes, Elio, yo sé, Latino tan cabrón. All right, so we got to talk about awareness of November, everybody. I gotta say, this one here is also, I've had friends that actually went through this and families that went through this as well too. We're going to bring this up so you guys can see that it's epilepsy, right? Epilepsy. So when we talk about November Epilepsy Month, everyone, we want everybody to be aware of what is going on as far as how this actually affects families, but also what it affects your loved ones. And being aware of this, everyone, that if you ever see someone that may go through something like this, the first thing is to be able to call for help. If you may walking down the street and you see someone that goes into something like this, everyone, please make sure you call for help, but also make sure you try to surround them with care. If you're not a doctor or if you're not in nursing or anything like that, just try and find help as soon as possible. Family members, of course, there's organizations to be able to help how you can be aware and also how you can actually deal as far as with something like this for your mental health, but also to be able to help the person that's actually going through it as well too. So November, everybody, this is Epilepsy Month, everyone, and please make sure you be aware of this in your surroundings and family for positive vibes. Let's go. Yeah. Everybody, okay. Now, I told you that this is going to be something special, but this is also going to be something serious that you're going to actually witness in regards to me as well as the two gentlemen that I actually have. And then we do have a special guest coming up at 7:30. Well, at the 30-minute mark, we have another special guest that we're going to be talking about the dance community. I will start off and say that the dance community, of course, have evolved over time from when I started in the late 90s, I should say, in the late 90s into 2000s here in actually Chicago, but being able to go around the world to be able to see how everyone else is actually dancing within the Salsa Congresos and also just different clubs and how the culture is in regards to dancing. But I got these two gentlemen that's actually here, and I have to tell you, these guys have actually supported me for quite some time. I want you guys to put your hands together. They are social dancers in the community, and we're about to talk about the community today. My man, Sam El Salcedo, and my man, Kevin D. Little. Let's go. Yeah. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Rico No Suave?
What's
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 going on?
going
How
on,
you guys doing,
Rico?
man?
It's going. It's
I'm doing
time,
super
man. It's
awesome.
time.
I'm doing super awesome,
Let's
Rico. I'm
go. Let's
alive.
go. Let's go.
I have a
Everybody, of course,
job.
we had to put my man Kevin D. Little's face. If hey, that's not how he looks, just stagnant all the time. That's my guy. You know what I mean? So we had to put his picture up there so you guys he's tuning in. But yes, guys, we got a lot to talk about in regards to the dance scene itself, and I definitely want to talk a lot about the subjects that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to paint the picture for everybody to be able to know. So everyone, we got a few subjects that we're going to talk about today. The style of clubs from back in the day and where we are now. We got dance groups and socials, how it changed over time. The third one is why dance clubs are not surviving long term. Another one is people in the dance scene that do not respect each other and have brought lawsuits up, which is a very serious one, everyone, against them. And we talk about students that learn how to dance and perform, then turn into DJs and dance instructors. That's going to be a fun one because that is something that I think that is something that you probably have never seen before where there's professionals. So let's get it on, gentlemen. The style of clubs from back in the day and where we are now. I'm just going to throw a little bit out there and then I'm going to let you guys go ahead and cook, right? The dance clubs back in the day where for us it was 720s. It was Babaloo's. There was Slicks.
Mm.
There was Tropical Cache. There was Club Liquid. Back in the day, I'm showing my age, right? Club showing my age. But also then you start having some of the clubs where there was Rumba, right? And then you had Patrons. Then you start having other clubs as well too. Images. Images was another one. And what I have to tell you is that those clubs back in the day actually had like a day of their own. Oh, Excalibur. Sorry, Excalibur as well too. I'm gonna start off with you, Kevin D. Little. When it came to you actually seeing the style of clubs back in the day, how did that actually make you feel, and where we're at now?
Well, you know what, Rico, you brought me back because when I was coming up, the only place that I dreamt about going when I was 21 years old was going to Seven Dubs. Seven Dubs was the place to be. Let me tell you, with
Yeah,
those three floors, I don't know if you remember, Rico, the third floor. If you ever got to the third floor, that was
of
the
course,
professional
with
floor.
the live band.
With the live band, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I went in there when I was under 21, Rico, with the little fake. So, hey, Sam, don't get me. Don't call don't call your profession on me. But that's what really got me into dancing, Rico. Was I went
Yeah,
to 720 and I saw a beautiful girl dancing, and I was like, I couldn't dance, and they were playing that live salsa. I didn't even know what the difference between salsa, bachata, merengue was, but I wanted to dance from going to 720s one day, and it's really like you said, it's completely changed. And I don't know how you feel about this or what your experience was, Sam, but my first experience was 720, and I really feel like you don't have that environment that you thrive to get to these days. I know in New York they had what was it, Paul Mentos or whatever they call it, that was really popular. I forgot the name of it, but in Chicago for me it was 720 that really we all looked up to. We wanted to go to when we were 21, and we could and we aspired to get in there.
right.
So that's what it was like for me, Rico. My
Okay.
first experience with the old school clubs
Yeah.
back in the day.
Okay. Sam, it's your turn, sir. What has it been for you as far as the evolution? And I forgot, yes, Elio, or Huevo, and the Buzz, and also Transit. I forgot
Oh,
about those two.
yes.
What was it like for you, Sam El Sarcero, when it came to you going through the evolution of the clubs itself for in Chicago?
Yeah, so the evolution for me, I mean, all those clubs that you named, Seven Dubs, 720, or whatever the names, Images, a lot of those I've never even been to.
Hmm.
However, through some of the old dance heads, I've heard about it. And I've heard how great it was, how authentic it was. Like people just loved going there. They
Yeah.
enjoyed the vibe. Like it was a great thing to, to come there and be a camaraderie with everyone and all that good stuff. However, like, something that probably maintained, the dancing and everything, like in terms of, having that old school vibe and like, I kind of felt like that welcoming and everything. Like you just said, transit, do ratchet,
Right.
um, AG Lounge, of course. AG Lounge, you can't forget about that one.
Yes.
And even not so much back in the day, but like even Lalo's, like to me
Yeah.
those are like prime dance times when that was going on, and
Yeah.
like yeah, we really felt the authenticity like when we were going there. Like you could dance there, have a good time. Like it was kind of like a carefree vibe, and then
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
maintained different people coming in, so like it wasn't like you're constantly seeing the same people or dancing with the same people. Like it was versatile. It was versatility going on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
man,
sir.
those are like like I said. I mean, we've been dancing for a while now, but a lot of those other places, like it's still a little bit above my head. But yeah.
Yeah.
But Rico, you know what?
Yes,
You
sir.
know what just made me think about something, Rico, is Sam and I would always go to First Fridays. I
Oh
don't know if you
yeah.
remember First Fridays of the month, with
Oh, I forgot about that one. Excalibur.
Excalibur.
yeah,
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
Fridays. We were outside, Rico. If it was 5 degrees outside, Sam and I would be outside waiting in line. You know what I mean? They had the long line around the corner. to
Yes,
get into
sir.
First Friday.
Yes,
So
sir.
that was one of the old school. It's not like old school. I don't know what you would call it, Rico.
I think it was First
What
Fridays was old school. Yeah, I think it was
old school?
old
Okay,
school.
all right, okay, yeah. Then it is old school. But yeah, Sam and I would be. We park our cars as close as we could, but we would make that walk with no jacket, Rico.
Yup.
You know how that goes.
Yep.
I think you know what
Hey,
you know one of the things about and Kimba, hey Kimba Kelly, thank you so much for tuning in. Patty Escobar, thank you so much for checking in. A lot of people starting to check in now with us. Green Dolphin, that's another one that I forgot about. Green
Yes,
Dolphin was another one
absolutely.
that was
yep,
on
yep,
Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays.
yep.
Yeah,
It
Yes, sir.
was.
cool. Well, I
Yep.
think we kind of broke the ice in regards to the clubs itself, and I think because we understand what the staples are, and we don't have to talk about the clubs for today because those are kind of modernization, right? They're modern
Yeah,
now, and I think when we felt the authentic of what a club really felt like when dancing. The Tropical Club you're talking about, I think, Kimba, is Roomba. Roomba was one of the most tropical Cubano places that we actually had here uh, as well too. If that's what you're referring to, Zocalo, yeah, Zocalo, yeah, that came also as well too in between where we had it. Yeah, that was a really good place on Mondays. We had a good time. Um, okay, yeah, Elio's going crazy now. All right, so
Even you mentioned it earlier, but even
yeah,
Patron
Patrons.
Haciendas.
Yeah, Patrons was kind of it was kind of modern as well too. That was after when I had Zocalo, and then I went over to Patron Hacienda, and then that's when because I was at from Images, I was there for a few years, and then that's when I think in 2010 I was at Zocalo for a couple years, and then that's when I went to Patron Hacienda, and then started doing Mondays there as well too. So I think that was really good. That was good. That was good times. Let's keep it going, everybody, because you know we'll be on one subject all day, but we do have some other important things to talk about. Let's talk about dance groups. Let's talk about dance groups and also socials and how it changed over time. I'm gonna start the picture on this one. Latin street dancing, big shout out to them. Latin street dancing was kind of my first socials that I was actually going to because I just felt comfortable during that time because number one, I was on one, hot on one salsa, right? On one. So I was doing a lot of on one. So I didn't really get too much into the socials itself because it wasn't my vibe itself. Let's talk about in regards to some of the dance groups that either you guys enjoyed, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons too, right? We're going to talk about the pros and cons of that because it's something that people need to be aware of in regards to what you need to be watching out for in regards to when joining dance groups and also when you actually go on a social. Sam El Salcedo, I'm going to start off with you in regards to that.
All right, yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the pros. There's a lot of gifted people who are on the dance scene. There's a lot of people who put a lot of work, energy, time into it, investments, like all that good stuff. Like, like Gifted Souls, Rocky, he's done a whole lot.
Yeah.
Urban Vibe, everybody who's been behind that scene from, the old school sets that they used to do, as well as a lot of new performances and things of that sort. But a lot of pros that I would say is, in addition to that, when people, they're going out, they're doing their thing. Sometimes, oh, hold on one second.
That's okay.
Okay, we're good. Sorry
Okay.
about that, Rico.
No worries.
No, yeah. In addition to that, like a lot of people, like they could be very supportive of their people.
Sure.
So, um, some of the cons with that, like, people are, they could be cliquey-ish. They could say, well, I don't get along with such and such, so I'm not going to go to this event. I'm not going to go support this individual because of this or whatever the case, or even regardless if it's true or whatnot. Like it could be unverified. So,
Yeah.
and when you're new to the scene and like you haven't been around, or you're kind of unaware, or you're basically vulnerable
Yep.
because you're not fully fathoming everything that's going on.
Right.
Like it can make it a little difficult to kind of navigate or understand, or like get where you want to fit in,
Right.
especially because of all of these outside influences.
Yes.
So, something of that sort is not good necessarily from not only from just generally dancing, but even from dancing from a business aspect.
Right.
So, a lot of these teams and things like that. And I could say I've probably even been a victim of it too. But
Yeah.
then when I've even realized, what was actually going on from the outside looking in and the inside, then I kind of took a step back and question my own morals or whatever the case is, and say like, oh, is this something I want to be, a part of, involved in, or want to be appearing as such,
Yeah.
when in actuality that's not who I am, that's not my morals, it's not anything that I'm about, or the type of person that I am, and I don't want to be perceived like that.
Yeah.
So um yeah, man. I mean, but like I said, there's a lot of, talented people, and they support each other. They do a lot of things of that sort. But at the same time, um, when you have a lot of that going on, you kind of just squeeze all the fun out, or the original purpose that we all came and congregated to the dance floor in the first place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. Kevin D. Little, I know my man Sam Salcedo said a really good, a lot of great points in regards to that. Do you have anything extra to add on to that?
Well, it's just it's funny, Rico and Sam, just to take a step back because I like to go back and think to myself, I was obsessed with learning how to dance salsa, right?
Hmm.
When I
Hmm.
first when I first got on the scene, and I think Sam could tell you that it was just you brought up Latin Street, right?
Right.
There were only a couple of dance groups out there when we first started. It was Latin Street and it was Latin Rhythms, right?
Right. Yes.
That was out there.
Yeah.
But Sam and I don't know if you know a guy named Nelson Saez.
Of course. Yep. Nelson Saez.
Yes,
Yep.
Nelson Saez. So we started at Nelson Saez, right?
Okay.
And what happened was, you know what? I felt like I was like, man, I feel like my dance isn't progressing.
Uh-huh.
So I went out there and I took a class at Latin Rhythms,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I'm not learning what Latin Rhythms is teaching, and maybe, I just got to diverse my dance game. And I came back and I told Sam, I was like, Sam, listen, I want to take you to where I've been going, and those were the only really two, dance groups out there, and how
Sure.
it's evolved. I think now from where it was, how many more dance groups are out there now, Rico?
Man.
There's so many, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Exactly. There's a
many.
lot of them.
There's
Yeah.
so many now. But back in the day, it was like when Sam and I when I brought Sam with me, because it was, I think Sam could tell you, when we were dancing, we were a pair. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was like, hey, we were one foot in front of another.
Yeah.
We became obsessed, and we became part of, like, hey, if you're not with Latin Rhythms, you ain't with nobody. It was like a war,
Wow.
right? Right,
Wow.
Rico?
Yeah.
Because everybody was like very territorial. But now
Right.
there's how many good people, Sam
Yeah.
said Rocky and Urban Vibe. We have,
Gifted
Hot on
souls.
One Salsa. We have
Yep.
Gifted Souls. We have Urbanity. We have so many different places that you can go to now,
Right.
that it really is. I think that's really what it's evolved into, where
Right.
before you didn't really have a lot of options, but
Right.
now you do have quite a bit of options, Rico. That's
Yeah.
kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I will say, because being in the scene for quite some time, there was, when it came to socials, it wasn't what was authentic to me was the clubs that I went to go and dance at. At the
Hmm.
Buzz, there was where you start having the Congreso, the people from New York, they're coming into
Yes.
they come to Chicago, and then you have LA style versus New York, Mambo
Hmm.
versus On One, LA style, right? And for
Yeah.
me, LA style was just the way to go, right? And it was just because it had more flashiness, it had more pizzazz, but it was going with my style as well too. And most of the clubs were actually doing that as well, like On One versus On Two. But when you
Right.
went to the clubs as far as On One, we were dressed up. The people that
Hmm.
mamberos, they will actually have the dance shoes, the white or the black with the flats or whatever. And I'm like, man, what's going on here? Like I'm starting to see a difference of a change of if you're Mombero, here's what we're gonna have. Because I remember Sekou, I got a big shout out to my man Victor
Yeah.
Monroy, and I started seeing all those guys, and that's when we started have competitions and stuff as far as in the clubs. But I started seeing the change in regards to who how you were supposed to look in the club.
Right.
When the Momberos started coming out, remember, we dressed up all the time. We had the LA style, we had the flashiness, but we still dressed up to look presentable. But then that's when the jeans started coming into play. Jeans, and you start having the flats, and you start having the dancing shoes. And I'm like, listen, I know it's a place to dance, but now it sounds like it's a place to practice. And it
Right.
became a problem. It became a problem for me because I didn't want that to take over of the style of what the club should look like,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
I think for me
Right.
I was very passionate. I was very passionate about that as well. So I wanted to make sure that I wanted to get that point across because that's very dear to me when it came to the passion and don't get me wrong, it was almost like a battle at the buzz or at the clubs itself. Like
Yeah.
I felt like
Yep.
if we had a circle on LA style and everybody's watching us and we're doing neck drops, we're doing kicks over, we're doing everything,
Hmm.
and then we'll have a circle around us, then all of a sudden, the Bomberos will come over and they'll try to get into the circle and people will just leave. And I'm like, man, I don't want this to sound like it's a battle. You know what I mean? I never
Right.
wanted
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I wanted people to enjoy the different styles of dancing. So, for me, I
Exactly.
think it was just more of I think it was just more of I didn't want to compete against you, but I think that's when it started the competition between on one and on two, but also people also the influence of the big names. You got the Mambo King from New York, you got Frankie
Yeah.
Vasquez, and some of the other guys that was actually going, but they just started getting so big. And we're going to talk about this before we take a quick commercial break. Did you guys see arrogance within the salsa scene during your
Oh yeah.
times when it came to dancing? Kevin DeLeto, I switched it off to Sam. Kevin, it's your turn.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about arrogance, I think that was very pervasive when we were coming up, Rico. I think that's when it changed, right?
Yeah.
Where it changed from, hey, you know what, everybody getting together to people now being more arrogant and more territorial. And that's kind of where Sam and I came into, where we were fresh pups in the scene,
Hmm.
and we really didn't understand the culture, and we saw the culture firsthand. And I think when you talk about that, Rico, I think that's really where, you know what, the arrogance is now, is pervasive within the dance scene. And that's kind of where I think we've turned, there's that term, you jump the shark, Rico, from the dance scene, where now I think we're in a little bit of a downward trend with the egos of some people. And I think, we have to bring it back to, a place of humility, or a place where people feel comfortable, because just some of the things that we're hearing on the dance scene are, I think, a direct reflection or a direct cause of people's egos and things like that, Rico. I really do.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think?
No, I totally agree. I mean, listen, if you look right behind me, Rico, you got it right there on the wall. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
What does that say?
I see humble.
It
Yeah.
says stay humble.
Stay
There's two
humble.
Hmm.
pictures.
Okay.
Stay
Okay.
stay humble. So humble beginnings with everything. How me and Kevin, when we came to the dancing, like he's touched on earlier, when you saw one, you saw the other. Like we were out and we were like bloodthirsty. We were enjoying ourselves. And when I say bloodthirsty, like obviously to dance and learn, grow,
Hmm.
adapt. Like we were genuinely enjoying ourselves, and we had some the generosity in terms of meeting people and one genuinely connect. Like people are losing that human nature connection
Hmm.
because of the arrogance and because of the competition, because of all the
Right.
other attitudes and egos that's on the scene.
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example, man. I mean, we were dancing, and even to touch back on what you said earlier, Rico, when we first started dancing, right? there were not a lot of dancers who were not only not confident on dancing on two, there weren't a whole lot of dancers just genuinely in the scene who could dance on two effectively, whether they were on time or off time or whatever the case is. We were going to Latin rhythms for like, a couple socials or whatever the case is. We're like, this is like maybe our third or fourth social in. We're hungry. We just came from, learning from salsa at Nelson Size. We wanted to, grow and adapt our dancing abilities and all that good stuff. We go to Latin rhythms and I see a pretty decent dancer. I'm looking at him like, and I don't know about you, when I'm on the scene or just in general, like, I'm pretty aware of my surroundings. Like I'm paying attention all the time. I mean, and in general, like when you're on the scene and you're watching people dance, you want to learn. So like you watch or whatever the case, you people
Right.
watch.
Right.
So I was seeing a gentleman dancing. I'm not gonna name him, but people know who he is. He's got a little afro. He may be missing a couple teeth or whatever the case is, but I mean, I'm not trying to be funny either.
Yeah, I
But
know. I'm sorry.
he was
Go ahead.
dancing, he's doing his thing, he's getting it in or whatever the case is. And he finishes his dance. Like I've never interacted with this guy. I've never seen him out. I've never said like, hi or bye, or I never said like I want to smack you upside your head. Nothing. Nothing disrespectful or anything of that sort.
Right.
So, I'm just underlining the basis. So, I go up to him like, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, well, this is when I was first getting introduced to dancing on one and two, right?
Okay.
And at this time, I could not dance on two. I go
Okay.
up to him, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, were you dancing on one or on two? And he looks at me. He looks me down and up and says, on two, and walks off. Now, again, this was like this is still introductory rate not only to the scene,
Yeah.
but in addition to dancing at a new studio that, mind you, we're supporting, we're spending a lot of money there. Like,
Yeah.
we're going there meeting, and it's all with generally a good heart, a good cause. This is like what we wanted to learn and do, like, and
Yeah.
profess to that.
Yeah.
And just not only just us, and although we're talking about our personal experiences, I've heard of so many that are in different circumstances that are essentially favoring the same stigma.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
as a new dancer that's on the scene, how do you think that made me feel, or how
Right.
would
Yeah.
that introduction, like, the first impressions are lasting,
Yes, sir.
not only on the studio, but in addition to the gentleman who replied to me like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
uncalled for. It's not even like it's not even natural to do something like that. Like, we all started somewhere.
Yes,
We
sir.
all,
Right.
like, you didn't just come out the womb like, oh, I'm doing my basic step, and you know sorry, my screen was
No worries.
timing out. But yeah, we all were started somewhere. We all were doing our basic step or whatever the case is. Like,
Yep.
like, you don't forget your humble beginnings.
Let's go.
And that's why I got this on the wall right here.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
I mean? And I've had it for several years. And it's
Right.
not only to give me a reminder, but I know where I come from, where the things that I have acknowledged and essentially amounted to, and mountains that I've overcame, and
Hmm.
not only just with the dancing, but just in life in general. But that's
Yeah.
never gonna put me to a point where, regardless whether I like somebody, I can't just be a genuine human being and say like, or be kind,
Right.
especially just you're coming to the dance scene or whatever the case is. Like, it's unnecessary,
Yeah.
you know and that
Yeah.
that goes back to the whole egotism thing that we were talking about,
Yep.
and a lot of it, like I said, is very much unnecessary.
Yeah. I like that, man. And great points. I mean, it's things that we do see that actually happens in the actual club. And there's a shirt, I forgot my boy's name that used to sell the shirts all the time. And he came out with a shirt that says on one, on two, whatever. I'm sure you guys seen that,
Yeah.
right?
We've seen one of those.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
and I think
Yep.
what's happening is that when I say, hey, would you like to dance? The whole objective of asking someone to dance is just to go out to dance. It doesn't matter if you're going to ask me, hey, are you on one or on two? And then that's another thing that we started realizing between on one and on two dancers is that when you had the on two dancers, and once again, this is just my opinion, so everybody have to understand this is the experience that we've been through.
Hmm.
You may have not experienced this, but we have. And I know that I have. Sorry, shouldn't be speaking for you guys, but when it comes to arrogance of on two, on one dancers seemed like they were more passionate than the ones that was on two, that they were passionate about being dancing mambo and being up to a certain level, right?
Hmm.
For us, it was
Absolutely.
more of
Absolutely.
let's get into this dance, let's have a great time. And if you're dancing on two, it don't matter. I'm gonna adjust as far as to you. If a female that you're actually dancing on two, I'm gonna adjust, but I'm gonna try to lead you into on one. And then we go from there. Guys, we got to take a quick commercial break. We got a
Sure.
special guest that's actually going to be calling in today, and I am ready to go. Guys, give me 30 seconds.
Awesome.
Everybody, Rico No Suave, my man Sam Salcedo,
Yes,
and
sir.
Kevin D. Little. Let's get it on. We'll see you back shortly, darling.
Yes,
Every
sir.
year, 800,000 children are reported missing. That's one child every 40 seconds. It's every parent's worst nightmare. Right now, there are 483 missing children cases still open. Your card donation can help keep kids safe and bring missing kids home. Donate your unwanted card today. Fast, free pickup, 24-hour response. Plus, you'll get the maximum tax deduction.
Call 800-723-2013.
We're getting ready for our caller to actually come in, and I think we'll be ready for this as well too, guys. I know a lot of you. This is probably over some of your heads, but Kimba, you also do bring up some really great points. We do have the caller coming in real quick, and we're gonna see if we can actually get him on. Let's see if we can 5-6. So let's mute 5-6. All right. Hey, we got the caller. Who is this caller coming in right now? Hey,
Mello,
we
what
got
up?
Jorge, we got Jorge Mello. Hey, Jorge, hey, do me a favor, turn your volume down on the back end what you're listening to, because we can hear the echo a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, because I got my laptop on, so I'm watching you guys live here too. So it's like
That's okay. That's okay. You can turn your laptop down, because you just be talking to us directly on your phone. So we good. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I see Sam here and Kevin too. What's up, guys?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Jorge? I can barely hear you, though, Jorge.
It is.
Can everybody
It
hear
is the
him?
low. It
I
is the
can't hear
low.
Yeah.
you on my phone. I only can hear my laptop, so I think you need to turn. I can't hear your volume.
Okay. Can you not hear?
Okay.
Okay. Do me a favor, Jorge. Come on in with that other link that I sent you, and then we'll bring you on. Okay.
Okay, sure. I'll call the link right now.
All right. Thank you. All right, everybody. That is George Mello. George Mello from Mello Entertainment. He's going to actually come in through a different link just to make sure that we're good to go. Always got to have backup. But this is going to be a fun show, guys. I hope you guys enjoying yourselves as well too. But hopefully we'll have him actually come in and join in as well. But one of the things I do want to say, as far as when we're talking about on one, on two, man, there's so many different things that actually happens when when you go to these salsa congresos and things like that. So yeah, thank you, Patty Escobar. Yeah, we're gonna have him come in on with us as well too. So let's see if we can actually bring him up. There he is.
What's up?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
What up?
I can hear you guys. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're kind of choppy, so we can only see that you're frozen right now, but that's okay. As long as
Okay.
we're able to hear you.
Oh yeah, I see. I'm frozen. I see it. I see it.
Okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All you need is my voice. You don't need my pretty face.
Hey, George Mello. So check this out. This goes on to a subject that we've been talking about, and one of the things about what we have here is we're talking about dance clubs now, right? I'm sure you heard everything that we've been talking about, but this kind of comes into play of, you know, the style of the clubs, and then we start talking about dance groups and we talk about socials. I know
Right.
one of the biggest things that you start getting into as well too, as being a promoter with dance clubs that are not surviving. Can
Correct.
you give us your opinion in regards to why clubs are not surviving?
Right. Well, I mean, just so I heard your conversation earlier, so obviously, going a little bit back at the days when we started the dancing. Hello?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So pretty much, going back, like you guys were talking about, when we started dancing, obviously, the salsa scene was pretty big. It was about having a good time, having some couple of drinks, having some food, and just having a good time.
Yeah.
So, going back, back in the days, you guys mentioned obviously like Roomba was my favorite spot, Green Dolphin, Sapphire, 720, et cetera, right?
Yes, sir.
So those places obviously were big in the salsa scene. They have live bands, and it was a great time. It was great times. They were always packed. And to be honest with you, most of those clubs back in the days lasted for many years, correct? I mean, they were,
Yes.
they were solid for many years doing salsa and bringing live bands and everything.
Yeah.
But where we going with this now, if you try to compare the old school, back in the days with today, is that, unfortunately, clubs and, a lot of promoters like myself are struggling to keep a tropical or salsa bachata night because, unfortunately, our clients, the consumer, the dancers, don't understand that in order for the club business to survive, they need to help out. They need to, spend a little bit of money at the bar, buy some food, buy some drinks, because they have a big cost. They have a lot of money, they got a lot of cost. And then, for the promoters as well, too, people think that we're pocketing all that money and we're getting rich. It's not the case.
Right.
As a promoter, you got to hire instructors, hosts, door person, DJs, instructors, photographers, etc. So security sometimes, so we have a lot of expenses too. And then I think, a lot of clubs are not surviving as well too. Is one of the main reasons that we talked earlier, you and me, Rico, about, some certain promoters now doing a no cover charge, and I think that's really, really going to hurt the scene, and especially having clubs where people can go dancing because, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me when they promote and advertise saying, no cover charge, live salsa band, special drinks, drink specials, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell you're going to pay the DJ, the instructor, the band, all this staff that you got to pay?
Yep.
And knowing that, and this is reality, everybody should know now that salseros, most of the people that are in the dancing scene, they're not heavy drinkers. Now, we're not saying that they need to go get wasted. Obviously, we're not talking about that.
Right.
We're just saying at least buy a couple of drinks, spend at least $20, whatever you can, to help out the club and the promoter as well,
Yeah.
So I think that's where we need to, emphasize it and be careful as to being a promoter that, back in the days, if we go back in the days, every club that we used to go salsa dancing, they had a $10 cover charge.
Right.
You said it, you had Zocalo $5, I think, or $3
Yep.
images,
Yep.
$5, but it was something little. And I think people will still get a little bit upset saying, oh my God, why are you charging?
Right.
I'm like, because we're providing entertainment,
Right. Right.
And I think that's where we need to distinguish between a social dance. That this is very important. A social dance to me is very different than a nightclub party.
Right.
Very different aspect. When you go to a social, and this is what I don't get. Some socials that I've been watching that there's you guys mentioned that there's a lot of dance academies now than before. So most of these dance academies, everybody's doing a social now. There's so many every weekend, but I see some of them, they're charging $35, $20 to go social dance.
Wow.
But they don't want to support $10 to the promoter, that's bringing you a live band, entertainment, a nightclub atmosphere. They don't want to pay $10, but they rather go and pay $20 or $30. To
Yeah.
me, that makes no sense.
Right. So, I do want to bring in Sam and also Kevin D. Little in regards to this as well too. But I will say this, gentlemen, is that as me being a promoter at one point in time, it's exhausting to try to get $3 or $5 out of someone, and knowing that me as a teacher have taught so many people to be able to see where is the support going. And what hurts a lot is when I had Zocalo, and keep this in mind, during that time where 720, Babalu's, all of those places, Green Dolphin, where they charged at the front door, and then people will come in to pay. And then when you finally get someone else that comes in and start doing a free before 9 o'clock or free before 8 o'clock, and then you start
Yep.
charging or just free all night, my night for Zocalo changed from having 150 people on a Monday, then someone competing against me on that from
Correct.
Yep.
across the way, and it's free, knowing that the people that used to come to my place and regulars going over to their place where it was actually free really opened up my eyes in regards to who's going to support you and who will not support you. Sam, tell me about. Did I switch it before? Well, Sam, go ahead. I
I
think
think it's
Sam, you
my
were
turn.
last, right?
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
Y- Yeah, so I would totally agree. Like, and that goes back to the whole thing that, like there's no or not a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of division in terms of even from the promotion level or like management, like, people are who are, promoters or even some directors or the socials. Like the scene does it all the time and it's a bit disgusting. Like
Yeah,
so and so have a social at whatever place and so and so have a social both places and then you're on such and such team, so you got to perform at both. So, you got to buy a ticket to support both. And then we're both going to go do this because, I'm on this team and this is our social. So we're supporting it and we're going to go support such and such things. But,
yeah,
nobody's talking or discussing it and like, collectively having this conversation that are, basically going to neglect the competition. So
yeah,
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 I think that
Yeah,
in a
you
bit
know,
is I think that in a bit is like, for people who have been on the scene for a bit, who have been, like promoting and doing whatever the case is, it's a bit inconsiderate. And I mean, it go again unnecessary. It creates the same competition that they've continuously do. Like, so and so does their social every, 2 weeks or whatever the case is. Oh, well, I'm gonna do mine on, you know, the same day, and we're charging this amount.
yeah,
But everybody who's on these teams or in collusion with these other teams, they're going to go support it, but they're not going to go support such and such event or whatever club that essentially is the same thing. Like
Right.
it's
and you know what?
ass backwards and
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, just real quick, I have a little bit of a different take. I'd like to get your guys' opinions
Sure.
on. I think and Jorge, I hear what you're saying about the difficulties in being able to support a club, and I look at it from a standpoint was back in the day when 720 was open, right? That
Right.
was the social, right? So
Yes.
if you were learning at Latin Street, the social that where you would go practice at was 720, right? So all of their students would go to a club because there weren't all these socials. But now we have so much diversity of classes and diversity of people teaching. Everybody's having a social. So even though we're competing, the same amount of people that are going to go to a club and are
Right.
going to go dance are the same amount, but now there's 30 different places you can go to on a Friday as opposed to three.
Right.
Right. Or even 7 days a week now. Like there's a different place
Yeah,
for every day of the week.
every absolutely
Yep.
every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday has a different spot.
Uh,
Where before we were waiting for Friday or Saturday so we could go to
Correct.
seven dub.
Correct.
Yeah,
You knew the spots to go. It was whether was it a Wednesday at Buzz or Thursdays at Excalibur, remember, or
right. Yeah,
Fridays at Roomba
absolutely.
or whatever. Yeah.
But here's
Right,
what I will
absolutely.
throw
yep.
this out to you, gentlemen, is this. When did it start? It started when there was two promoters that actually started to compete for the
Yep.
same night. The
Right.
one
Yes.
thing that the reason why these clubs are not surviving is because
Mm-hmm.
of the image that you bring to the club and say, I can bring you 300 or 400 people to the club and
Correct.
look how packed
Yeah.
my night is. And
Yep.
then all of a sudden, yeah, your night is actually taken away from what other people have actually started. And now we have a problem with animosity within promoters. There was two
Mm-hmm.
promoters that was actually battling each other because one had a school and one was just a promoter. And I won't say the names, but what I will tell you is this: that kind of ate up the club. That kind of ate up what we wanted
Yep.
to do with building a community. We wanted to do it the right way and say, hey, we want you to authentically come to our club to be able to enjoy yourselves instead of having it be cliquish. So, gentlemen,
Yep.
Yep.
time is flying by fast, man. But I do
The
want to go to this next one because this next one is very important. Thanks, Jorge, for actually your input on that as
No
well.
problem.
People in the dance scene. Now, this is very serious for people that don't know that there are things that was happening within the dance scene that people have came up to me, women have came up to me and said, hey, Rico, this guy have groped me. Or, hey, Rico, this guy actually tried to manhandle me outside. Or this guy was a stalker on the outside. And of course, these are gentlemen that's actually doing this as far as to women. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I've never seen it, but I've heard it as well too. I know that we do have some people that was actually in the community that was actually it's on Facebook and you guys can see it as well too, and it was posted
Right.
everywhere. And it also stems from the Bachata Festival. There's also
Yep.
Yes.
in some of the people that's in the Bachata Festival. Sam, I'm
Correct.
going to let you start off on this again because you have more insight in regards to this
Yeah.
as well. And then everyone else, I'm going to have you guys
I
go
don't know
ahead and
about
voice
more
your
insight,
opinion.
Rico, but
Huh?
I don't know about more insight, but I mean, I'm aware, and I mean, I'm just on the sidelines looking on all of this.
Okay.
Man, we haven't been involved with the scene since it's been at least it's coming close to 10 years, man. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
pop up every blue moon or whatever the case is. I still hear the little chatter. We hear all the little nonsense or whatever else that somebody then tag somebody in post Facebook posts or just nonsense. But given what you said, I mean, there's a few things to touch on. One is going back to with the competition and things of that sort, and then
Yeah.
two, we're going back to the events that one specifically the Salsa Bachata Fest or whatever it's called. That's a perfect example of what they unnecessarily did with the competition and everything.
Yeah.
We got the biggest and most major event that's happening in Chicago, where we get some of the biggest dancers, biggest groups. Like it's supposed to be the biggest event, spectacular event of the year. Like that's it. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be anything that's coming to type of like coming close to a competition. Anything that we should consider like, oh, we're gonna do it bigger or whatever the case is. Like the Chicago International Salsa Congress should have been it.
That's it. That's it. Yep.
10 whatever years it was,
Yep.
12 years ago when they did the first one, and they allowed the New York promoters to come and
Mm.
infiltrate Chicago dancing, and
Mm.
not only throw that event,
Yep.
grow it to the aspect that it has become, and do it the month after the Chicago International Salsa Congress is like just not only a slap in the face, but it
Yes.
got to a point where some of these biggest groups that were like used to come from New York,
Yep.
used to come from Cali or Colombia or whatever the case is, South America, used to come
Yep.
from all over the world. They
Yes, sir.
stopped coming and supporting, and in return said, you know what, I'm not gonna go to this event when I'm just gonna double back and come to Chicago Salsa Bachata Fest the following month. It doesn't
Yep.
make sense. I'm not doubling back, and I'm getting more benefits because of the kickbacks from all my boys in New York who's running this event. Like,
Come
what
on.
sense does that make?
Yeah.
And I don't know why the promoters and the directors on the scene ever even allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
There's nobody on the dance scene who could come up right now that's on Chicago dance scene and can come up and say, I'm gonna go do the same thing in New York and go start me an international event and fest or whatever the case is. They
Not at
wouldn't
all.
stand for it. They wouldn't go for it.
No,
It
sir.
would never happen.
No,
You
sir.
can you can't point one. I don't care how prominent they are, whatever the case is. Now that's that topic. Now, but going back to the other topic, the fondling and all the other stuff. There's prominent members who have been accused of a lot of stuff, and even one of them that's prominent who previously had a studio. And they've been posted out on a bunch of things. And in regards to that, I mean, I don't know specifically if they have any like suits or whatever the case is, but we know of a few people who are active and they have a few things that's going on. And I mean, it's disgusting.
It
And
is.
the reason I'm putting it out like that, like, is because these people that they hang out with, and these other prominent figures that they're colluded with, or that they're cliquey-ish with, or whatever the case is, you can't tell me that all of these other people didn't see, recognize, or know, or wasn't
Mm-hmm.
aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And this same
Mm-hmm.
member, like you just said, that like he's one of the main members. I'm pretty sure that you were discussing that he was coming in competition with throwing his event and doing this and that, or he could
Yep.
do it better and get his
Mm-hmm.
dancers out, or whatever the case. Like, but that's my whole point. That egoism, it's undeserving, and he should never have even done anything like that. Like, that was a bad look. And now, everything that's going on now is biting him in the ass, and he ain't the only one. But that's the whole, mindset of these individuals who are constantly like, cliquish and like that.
Yep.
So
Hey, you know what? Real quick, just to throw my 2 cents in, is there's a lot of leadership on the dance scene in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
That they claim they're self-professed. Hey, we are leaders because we've been doing this a certain amount of time. In the last few months, I would have loved to see everybody come in and condemn this behavior because it's abhorrent. This is
mhm,
embarrassing. We've been
Yeah.
hearing
yep,
about this stuff that's been going on. It's been little rumors, but all of a sudden it comes out. And where is the leadership to say, hey, this is disgusting. I apologize. I've given this person a platform to speak, to perform in my socials, and I am
yep,
embarrassed that I allowed that to go on.
Right.
We're talking about
yep,
the Salsa and Bachata Fest, right? A
Mm-hmm.
person was accused of doing something the year before, and they brought that person back.
Wow.
They
mhm,
brought the person back, right? And a second person came
yep,
out and said, "Hey, this happened to me." And then they said, "Oh, you know what? Well, now we're gonna condemn the
mm,
person." You know what?
yep,
We have to be better. We have to be better. And they were messing, and there were 3 or 4 people that are connected with that festival they've been accused of doing they've
yep,
been accused of doing stuff. You know what? There's
and
in
and
Chicago there's 4 or 5 people that are connected with that festival
yep,
that are now either you've never heard from them again, that are
Yep.
currently in jail, or that currently have lost their
the
studios,
status quo,
right?
Yep.
or the
There's, you
status
Yep.
know what I
quo.
mean? So
So I want
let's
to. I
Yep,
want to
stop. Let's
get.
stop pretending. You know what I mean? Let's stop pretending. Let's call this stuff out, and let's really vanquish these people from the dance scene, because it's not fair that people have to be subjected to that kind of abuse, and without
Mhm.
people, so-called leaders, not speaking up.
I'm gonna
That, that
get.
that's that's
I'm gonna
my
let.
yeah.
That's a very
Go ahead,
good point.
Jorge.
I'm gonna let Mello get his point in as well too, and then we'll go to the next subject. That'll be the last subject for today. Mello, what do you
Yeah.
have to say about that?
My 2 cents. Yeah. I mean, pretty much I agree with everything you guys said. But another topic, I mean, obviously talking about what been happening in the, dance community. I think, from my experience, because I'm going to be very straightforward, I've DJ all the congresses in the United States, So I did Aventura Dance Cruise. I did, Orlando, New Orleans, Miami, LA. I mean, I did so many congresses as a DJ, you know. So from my experience, I think in order for us to avoid this, women also gotta respect themselves too as well. But I think, what I seen or I noticed and all every because I experienced it too and I lived that life, and every Congress or every social, every Congress, we're talking about Congresses, CSBF, whatever, you name it, Chicago Salsa Congress, whatever. Any Congress that you will go, it's literally, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of social dance involved, but at the same time, like people literally go and get their rooms, they get their after parties, they get wasted, they get trashed. They can't control their alcohol. And I think that's a major key, to avoid all these problems. If you're going to go to a social dance and dance, that's the point of dancing and, and networking and meeting new people, right?
Yeah.
That's all it's about, dance. It's a dance community.
Yeah.
But most of these parties, I mean, it's literally like a freaking, like it's bad. Like everybody gets super wasted, hammer, all these young kids getting like stupid, crazy drunk. And it's like, it's obviously going to lead to something else,
Right.
Yeah.
So
I will say this though, Jorge. I don't mean to cut you off. I
no,
think I'm in the subscribe that people, if you want to get drunk, that's your prerogative. However,
right,
we shouldn't foster a community that harbors people that take advantage of people in those situations, because
Yes,
that's
right,
sir.
exactly what's
I
happening.
agree.
You are a
yeah,
criminal. You are a
true,
criminal because that's what happens. People realize that, and that's what brings out the sick people. They're like, oh, I know they're going to be doing this, and it's a good reason that I could take advantage. Just go
right,
ahead and read that affidavit of the person that's in jail in Florida right now, and that's
right,
exactly what the person did. What you're
right,
subscribing, we're giving them the environment to really to take advantage of people, and that's what we
true,
can't do. We can't
exactly,
allow people to, just because people want to drink, people are free to drink. It's legal.
right,
But just because
true,
somebody's drinking doesn't mean that they should be taken advantage of. And that's
exactly.
what
Yeah,
these
no,
and that's what these people are doing.
I think,
right,
gentlemen, I
Yeah.
think what we're saying here, we're almost
Yeah.
running out of time, but this time it went by so fast. But
No,
one of the
absolutely.
things that I will tell you, gentlemen, in regards to it also comes from home as well too, discipline at home, and who's being influenced by who, right? And I think what
correct,
happens is that when growing up for us, it's more of like,
Mhm.
hey, you know what the difference is between good and bad, and if you actually did something bad, you got the chancla, you got something whipped around your head because
Absolutely.
it was something that you knew you had to stay
Yes.
away from. So I think because of the influence, because it looks good, but keep this in mind, the arrogance gets to these kids' heads, and I've always seen it change. I've seen it to the
Hmm.
fact, and this goes to my next point. When students starts to learn and they get to a certain point in their lives, the teachers, we as teachers, have to make sure that they stay humble, because some of us teachers are
true,
arrogant. Some of us teachers that's out there are arrogant. So what that does is it teaches the young ones to be able to say, you can be like me, and then you
right,
can be the best you can actually be, which is totally different. Now, the next subject,
Right.
last subject we have to talk about, gentlemen, is students that learn how to dance and perform, then turn into DJs and also into instructors. So the students that's
we, we
learning,
we
and I
we
tell
all
my
know probably
students,
a couple of those.
yeah,
But yeah.
I have seen, I have seen I have seen mamberos. I have seen students that started into dance groups and became really good and wanted to learn. They got a few MP3s and a few playlists, and now they're a DJ. I've seen people teach. I've seen people come on the
Yep.
dance floor, and I remember when that actually happened with instructors, or I'm sorry, students trying to teach other students. And big shout out to Del Dominguez. He put out a nice little clip in regards to that. Del Dominguez
yes,
put out a
Yep.
clip
Yep.
in
Yep.
regards to saying, hey, if you're a student, you shouldn't be trying to teach another student unless you want to become a teacher, but then learn. So my last
right,
question, my
Yep.
last
Yep.
point to you guys
He's put out a
is
couple of good
this.
points actually.
Yeah, so
But
yeah,
yeah.
Mel came out with some good points. So I'm gonna start off with you, Mello. In regards to you seeing, instructors, or I'm sorry, students turn into DJs, turn into instructors. What do you think about that?
well, again, like you mentioned, I mean, it's okay. I mean, nothing against them. I mean, obviously, everybody deserves an opportunity. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I think you need to be like prepared. You need to get yourself prepared. You need to be ready to do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. Like pretty much, like again, you see a guy that takes classes and a month later he's already teaching other people. I'm like, what? And then
Yeah.
and I know a lot of instructors that they actually have dance academies, studios,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like off timing, no rhythm, like, like it's just they don't have the foundation,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying don't do it. It's just do it the right way, learn, become good at it,
Right.
where the people that is gonna learn from you, like learn from the masters, learn from the great instructors,
Right.
get that good, get yourself, deep into that in order for you to be able to teach the proper way. Because then I see a lot of, people that is taking classes and I see them dance. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm taking classes from this studio. I'm like, oh my God. And they're charging you? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, same thing with DJs is like, I don't know. To me, there's a controversy as well, like, being a DJ and stuff, a lot of people say, oh my God, this is the best Chicago DJ, but they only play salsa.
Right.
Oh, this is the best Chicago DJ, but they only play bachata.
Right.
I'm like, being a DJ is not just hit and play and, look at your 20 songs for the night and hit and play, because anybody can do that. I'm pretty sure, Rico, you can be a DJ. Why don't you be a DJ?
Yeah, I got Spotify, so I'm
You
good.
got Spotify. So pretty much that's what it comes down to. Is like, you got to know your music, your foundation. You got to know, I'm an open format DJ. So I literally play everything and I mix. And that's the controversy when, the difference between being a DJ and playing music. A DJ is a person that's able to mix and blend different, music, different songs, different variety of music,
Yeah.
versus just, playing music. So it's a big difference. And that's a controversy. But again, nothing against them, but at least, learn, do it the right way. And then I think once you become good, then, start, DJing, or because again, and this is what I've known, that a lot of these youngsters, a lot of these DJs, what they're doing is they're going to all these clubs, like certain studios or whatever, DJs, they're playing studios. Bro, they go for they lowball themselves. They go just to let them play. They go for $100 or whatever a night. Like, dude, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to know your worth as well too.
Yeah.
That's why I don't DJ as many of those socials, because a lot of they don't pay what you're worth.
Right.
So every DJ has their price.
Thank you.
And that's
DJ.
what the controversy is.
DJ Mellow Entertainment. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Kevin D. Little, let's go to you, my man. Do you have any extra points on that?
You made a lot of good points, Jorge. I would say this: anything in life that you want to do it and do it passionately and follow it. The only thing
Exactly.
I would say, yeah, only thing I would say is you have to have a tight crew, or you have to have your circle of people that have and live by a certain set of morals, and that are going to be
Correct.
honest with you. So if you're suck at DJing, like, hey, Sam and I would always be honest with each other, be like, hey, don't do this, man, because you know what, you're not good at it. Don't go over
Right.
here talking this yin yang, because
True.
you don't know what you're saying. You got to have a tight circle that's willing to tell you the truth
Correct.
about you. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a tight circle, you just have people that are yes men and just want to profit off of you, then you're
Correct.
going to look bad doing it. But when
Exactly.
we were out here, we would look out for each other and be like, hey, that's not a good look. Or,
True.
hey, your breath stinks, right? Hey, man,
True.
go get some gum, whatever the case may be. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest
Yep.
with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Go do this. But just whatever it is, get a tight group that's going to be honest with you and that's going to be telling you the truth. You know what? I heard you, DJ, and it's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, maybe
Right.
get better at it and then go back, or don't get better at it and do something else. That's what I
You
would
know
say.
what?
Thank you, man.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is the main key that people don't like what is it called? Criticism? No, not criticism,
Yeah.
but what do you call it when you tell somebody something? Well, I just lost the word.
Yeah.
Right,
Constructive
like
criticism. Yeah.
correct. So people don't like that. If you tell them something, oh my God, they get offended. It happened to me many times. Where I mean, and trust me, I had people in the past, I made a screwed up, whatever. Like, oh, Mello, I think you should. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it because that makes me better. That to me makes me
Constructive
better.
criticism.
There you go. Instructor
Criticism.
criticism. There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
That makes me better. But a lot
Any
of
good
people don't
teacher
like
can be
that.
responsive to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Any good instructor can always be responsive to that. Absolutely.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam, any last words on that?
A few. I'll say, I know one that's at, a prominent, um, at a prominent dance school right now, and I'm trying to, not get around without saying the names,
Say
but
it. Say it. Say it.
I don't know if he wants to be a dancer or DJ or or an instructor or whatever the case. I've seen the picture, but I don't think he's good at any of them. And at that prominent dance scene, I mean, school, Louis, I'm not talking about you, because
Right.
you still DJ over there. It's only a select few who does, but
Right.
I mean, even with the other one, there's a woman who started dancing at another prominent dance school, and she only
Yeah.
got a few years in. And I mean,
Hmm.
I just think that's just very interesting. I mean, and let me go back, and I mean, not like I'm just talking out of my ass or something. Like, me. I mean, coming up and growing up, I mean, I became a percussionist. Like all throughout high school, I played drums. Like I did my own thing. I competed. I did, the real thing, and always from a humble point of view. I actually auditioned. I marched professional drum corps. Then 8 years later or so, I came back to Chicago, taught at my old high school, taught at various different groups that still exist to this day, students that I still have and can reach out to, like, all that good stuff.
Nice.
But I did it. I marched professionally, like, and I came back and taught when I was good, when I was marching and things that I saw, 3, 4 years in or whatever the case, I was not teaching at that point. I was still a student. I was still humble. I was still learning. I was still growing, progressing.
Yeah.
Everything was still, status quo. I was establishing my foundation in order to be better, be great, and give out what I've received over the years, which I've
Hmm.
done and did. So, like, just from an instructor standpoint, it's kind of difficult to fathom when, you kind of see the same things or same whatever going on, and it's not going the way you would assume that it would be or presume
Yeah.
it would.
Yeah.
So
True.
it's yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, the scene is they just doing whatever they're doing, but
Well,
it is what it
gentlemen,
is.
thank you, man. That was awesome, man. We had really a great session here, man. I thank you guys for being on the Rico No Suave show. I mean, all of the points that we put together, there's so much more to talk about. So we should definitely do a part two,
Yeah.
because there's more things that people need to understand in regards to the dance scene. But our time
Oh
is
yeah.
up, man. Our time is up, and I thank you guys so much for being on the show, DJ.
No, pleasure.
Mello, George Jorge
Thank
Mello,
you.
Mr. Sam El Salcedo, and Kevin D. Little.
Yes, sir.
You guys
Woo!
are awesome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Hey, so it's part
Yeah.
two. We're gonna put a
I
list
look
with the
forward to
call names,
going.
or what? Are we calling names on part two?
Yeah, we
Hey,
will.
I'll
We
call it
will.
out like
We
it
will.
is.
Exactly. We got to
You
do it.
know, I didn't wear this shirt for no reason,
I know. That's what I saw that.
But I, I,
so
I do want to acknowledge
hey,
some of the names, though, gentlemen. Some of the names that was actually in the chat. Philip Daniel Vasquez Sr., he actually says, hello, everyone. He said, yeah, he said, fake it till you make it. And Helio, Elio, a huevo,
Elio.
he actually
Elio,
says, I hate
yeah.
Elio
when Melo
Rocha.
asks me to play Mark Anthony.
I don't have that one on my playlist. I only got Bad Bunny.
Right.
Yeah, but
John T for free. He's actually a regular on the Rico No Suave show. This is a learning experience for him as well too, and some of my regulars that's actually coming in. Patty Escobar says, he said, yeah, there needs to be a regulation in regards to the community by the leaders in any community. Call it out,
Yep.
and I think that's
Yeah,
very important. I think
true.
that's very important. And we did talk about a little bit about the alcohol and what needs to be disciplined when it comes to that. So, gentlemen,
Mhm.
man, thank
Yep.
you guys so much, man, for being on the show, man. You guys are super awesome, man. And I have to give you guys one of these, man, because you guys came onto my shirt. I give it out to my people all day. So I'm gonna have to
Oh
send you
Absolutely.
guys. I'm
yeah.
gonna send you
Thank
guys
you.
one of these shirts, man. The Rico No
I
Suave show
appreciate
shirt.
that.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
brother.
give
Yes,
you guys definitely
sir.
give you guys one. And I'm gonna probably get one to Jorge Melo as a crop top because he likes to show his belly out in the summer. So I gotta make sure he gets that.
No problem. I'll wear it.
Hey, loco. Right.
Que loco.
All right, everybody. Hey, guys, thank you guys so
Hey,
much, man. Thank you guys
thank
so
you so
much
Thank you
for
much,
being on
again.
the
Rico.
show,
We
man.
appreciate it, brother.
I'll see
Hey,
you
we
guys
look
later.
forward to sharing more because this is we're just scratching the surface on
That's
everything.
it.
I
Exactly. I
mean,
mean, we
That's it.
got hours that
we're
we can go
just
off of every
we
topic.
could
Yep.
go
Yeah.
For hours.
all day, all night long about this.
Yes,
Just
sir.
Yes, sir.
example after example. I didn't even get to touch bases on the previous post I made that had so many of the like directors and promoters just mad at me. So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
We'll
it's
save
all
that.
good.
Hey,
Yeah.
gentlemen,
Yeah,
we'll save that for
Absolutely.
part two, man. We'll save
yeah,
that for part two. We
absolutely,
got to
man.
get out of here.
Thank you.
But all right, guys, I'll
Right,
see you
Absolutely.
guys later,
absolutely.
okay?
Have a nice one.
All
You
right.
too. Ciao. Hey everybody, it's your boy Rico No Suave. I think this is one of the longest ones we've been on for a long time. But everybody, this is what happens when it's actually in the community. We want to thank you guys so much for actually tuning in. This is one of the special ones as far as for me, guys. So thank you guys so much for actually being with us for the hour itself and a little bit more time in regards to that. But thank you guys so much for being here. We want to show you our social media, everybody, before we get out of here. We do have our website, everybody. Our website is it is our Facebook. Okay, all right. Producer, www.thericonosuaveshow.com. Thank you guys so much for actually supporting us there. Of course, you'll see the remnants of the show, the archives there. It is Facebook, Rico No Suave Show, everybody. Make sure you go ahead and like and love everything we're doing there. Here's the next one. The next one is Rico No Suave Show Instagram. Yes, make sure you go and follow us on Instagram. The next one is YouTube. Yes, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're building it there as well. Last but not least, turn to the podcast. This is good for when you're actually driving and not watching. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here, but thank you guys so much for actually, sharing your sentiments as far as with us and also your comments with us. Thank you guys so much for the dance community as we end off the show just like this.